Hey everyone, it's Zach Wright from IMEO Company, where we focus on improving management, employees, and organizations by delivering value around people, processes, and purpose. Today, we wanted to talk about how you can implement coaching into your organization. The reason we wanted to deliver this video is because we recently worked with an enterprise client where we helped them implement coaching into their organization specifically for their sales team. Their goal was to ramp everybody up as sales managers and get them to start producing as far as activities, meetings, closing deals, and more. So what we're going to be looking at today is our coaching program template, and that includes coaching directory, coaching plan setup, and then your session and notes and action plans that are going to be extremely important for you to achieve success when implementing your coaching program. So I wanted to start with how to start a coaching program in your organization. The very first thing that you want to do and almost have to do for coaching to be beneficial and successful is to establish trust with your employees. You do this by understanding who your employees are inside and outside of the organization. Really get to understand them and get to know them, but you have to do it authentically. You can't do it with fakeness or they're going to see through that. You want to learn what motivates them, what really drives them. Is it money? Is it the recognition? Is it closing deals? Is it going up against tough clients? Whatever it is, you want to understand your employees as much as possible to establish that trust. The next step is you want to identify the key areas of improvement your team needs to achieve their goals as well as develop them as employees. How can you help them become better? From the key improvement areas, you want to create a program around those key areas of improvement. The next step is you want to track those coaching sessions and provide action items for them to work on before the next session. This is extremely important because if you just have a coaching session and there's no homework, so to speak, that's it. They're going to leave and they're going to forget what was spoken about. So you want to be able to track it. This is another key important area for coaching to be successful. You have to communicate. You have to be transparent as much as possible. You have to be candid, which means you have to provide feedback, real-time feedback, and not sugar-coated feedback. You have to be able to present something clear where the employee that is being coached knows exactly what they need to work on so they can work on that specific thing and improve. And then the next piece is holding them accountable, which actually goes back to your action items. Whenever you have that coaching session and you wrap it up, which we'll get to in the template, those action items becomes areas where you can hold them accountable and they can hold themselves accountable. Now, one important thing that I want to call out here is many people, especially working with a lot of leaders, I've seen them use training and coaching interchangeably. And that is not the right way to do it because training is specifically different than coaching. I'll keep it simple here, but training is taking something that you know and delivering it to somebody else so they understand what it is. Coaching is not providing the solution, so to speak, especially not at the offset, but it's helping the person being coached to find those solutions on their own. You're building up their skills on how to problem solve, make decisions better, how to do the position on their own. See, training tells you exactly what you need, tells you exactly what to do, where coaching is actually developing you as a person, as an employee, where you're building skills, where eventually you won't need to have a coach, or you can become the coach. So I wanted to, before I dove into this template, specifically say that training and coaching are two different things. So we've discussed the structure of how to get started with coaching in your organization. Now, let's discuss the template that I'm looking at on the screen here. And this is the one that we use for our enterprise client. We've obviously taken away the information so we can use this because this is our intellectual property. But let's start just from the layout. This is your coaching directory. The reason I call it a directory is because all of the coachees are going to have their own linked document here. So if we hover over this one, we can see what we're about to pull up, which is the actual coaching template. But instead of having multiple bookmarked locations on your browser, you can have one specific one with the link here. And I always like to have inspirational things. So I have this quote here: success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. That's exactly what coaching is. It's the sum of the small efforts. You do the small things to get big results. So let's dive into what the coaching plan template actually looks like. So what we're looking at here is the coaching plan tracker, and that's exactly what it is. These are guidelines and reminders for you, the coach, to make sure that the coachee goes through. So you want to introduce the employee to coaching. You don't want to just throw it out there. Just like I did with training and coaching, they're different. You want to explain the intentions of coaching. It's to develop a skill. It's to help you find your own solutions. It's to help you become a growth mindset, a continuous learner. So that's what I mean by here. And you can obviously take these tasks and change them into whatever makes sense for your organization. I do recommend keeping these here: introduce employee to coaching, and then fill out the coaching template. So the coaching template is over here. So let's slide over here. If we look, we're starting with the intention. What is the intention of this coaching program? Because whenever it comes to coaching, you usually have a specific time and you usually have an end goal in mind. So what this says here is fill in the coachee or coach's intentions for these coaching sessions. What are the outcomes you want to see from this coaching program? That's going to tell you how well you did, how much the employee achieved and improved during this coaching program. The next step is to identify the day and time you will have recurring meetings. I like to set these up as recurring so the coachee can plan around this. They can plan their week around coaching. So if for the sales team, they know, or they try to schedule around coaching, even if they have meetings, they want to try to get that, they want to keep that space open because you want to keep it consistent as possible. And the coach themselves needs to follow through on these coaching meetings as well. Or it will make it seem to the employee that coaching is not as important as what you've been describing. And when that happens, you might lose focus from the coachee. You might lose engagement from the coachee. The next part is the skill to focus on for coaching. So what skill will you focus on to achieve your intentions of this coaching program? And I have 3 skills over here. Obviously, they're just examples because this is a template. But try not to do more than 3 skills in a coaching program in your organization. Because chances are you're not going to have tons of time, but the time that you do have, you want to focus on the important areas that it's going to do, that you're going to need to focus on to help your employee achieve success. So we recommend 1 to 3, but really no more than 3. So let's go back over here to insert coaching activity. So obviously that is a call to action for you to do. So depending on the skill, whatever that coaching session's happening at that week, on that week, you're going to put that in here. So is it storytelling? Is it learning to handle objections from a client better? That's what you want to put in here. Now, you can also fill out the week, or you can actually put the day of the coaching session. And let's say that the coaching session is ongoing. So maybe you want to change that to ongoing, or it's in progress, or if there's somebody who is out of the office or they have PTO, you didn't complete that. Well, it's incomplete, so you missed that one. And that's okay, right? You still want people to have an outside life, and understanding who they are helps you do that. Going back to establishing trust. So the next part of this is the coaching plan setup notes and action items. So let me scroll on over here to the left. You can see that we have our session number. So this is going to be the first session. It's going to happen on July 28th. We're going to have our example skill in here. So the area of focus for session is going to be one skill. You don't want to focus on more than one skill in each coaching session. And I was listening to a speaker describe this perfectly, why you only want to focus on one skill at a time in a coaching session. He uses an example of a golf coach. So if somebody has something wrong with their swing and a golf coach says, look, your arm's not straight enough, you're not looking where you need to, your knees aren't bent enough, your hips aren't doing this, so let's fix that. Do this, 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 and this. Well, the person who is trying to improve their golf swing is going to get lost. They're going to forget what the first thing was, and then they're going to forget the middle. They might remember the end, but then they're not going to really develop into their full potential. So what he says is, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 5, go 1. Practice, practice, practice. 2, practice, practice, practice. So in the golf metaphor, what you would do is, instead of saying all those things at once, you would focus on one thing. Okay, let's focus on your arm position. Okay, now do 100 swings with that arm position. 100 swings. And then go to the next thing. Do 100 more swings. 100 more swings. So that's what we're doing here. We're focusing on one skill for each coaching session. And now the next block here is, how will we know we made progress? We're going to enter the measurement that's going to help us understand if we made progress. So for the golfing example, we're going to do 100 swings, and we're going to make sure that that arm position is correct. Once we see that and it becomes a behavior, we know that there was progress made in the right direction. Now, the key learnings is going to be the key learnings, the main things that you want the coachee to take away from this session. It can come from you, it could come from the coachee, whatever the case is. These are the things that we want the coachee to remember, so they can start using that immediately in their approach to becoming better. And then this goes into the action items. So always walk away from the coaching sessions with clear, actionable items for the coachee to work on before the next session. This is what I called the homework at the beginning of this video. You want to have action items because this is where you're able to hold the coachee accountable. they have key things that they need to work on to improve this skill from that specific session. And when they work on those, you're able to see, okay, is this in progress? Do they still need to work on this? Or did you get to the point where you can complete it from a coaching perspective? Now, the progress tracker, you're probably going to look backwards on this, and you're going to fill that out after you've seen them with their action items. So the next meeting that you have, you want to talk about the action items and the topic that you discussed. How do you feel on the action items? Were you able to complete this? Walk me through that. Do you feel like you're at a better position, or did you have any questions on that? So you're going to be able to look at the progress tracker and complete that along the way. And there's going to be multiple sessions. Remember, we're focusing on 3 skills at the most. There's going to be multiple sessions on the same topics, because you want to drill down and actually have them become well educated, well coached, and be able to have that become a behavior of theirs. So the next part here is helpful tips from the discussion. So it's going to be document links. Now, when you're in an organization, you might have document links that you're going to send specifically to them. Some of the salespeople that we were working with our enterprise client was product knowledge. So we had a plethora of IP in the company that we could share with them. And oftentimes it was things that they never saw. And each time it would help them understand what the company does better. But it doesn't have to be just internal document links. It can actually be a YouTube clip that's based off of whatever the topic was. For instance, there was a lot of prospecting talked about in those coaching sessions at our enterprise client. And we had a tool stack. So we needed to help these reps get up to speed on how to use those tools. So in addition to the coaching, we would also add relevant links from YouTube, from videos that we had internally, from whatever it was that could help them move from point A to point B sooner and quicker and faster. Now, this next part is where the trust really comes into play. Did you find this helpful? This is what you're going to ask at the end of each coaching call with your client or with your coachee. And if you don't have trust, you're really probably only going to get, yes, this was helpful. Or if you don't have a psychologically safe environment, you're probably going to get, yes, this was helpful. But you need to build that candidness and trust with your employee where they can actually say, no, this wasn't helpful. Because you need to be able to be coached just like they need to be able to be coached. So if it wasn't helpful, dive in a little bit on that. How could I have made this better? What can I do to make this helpful? Right? So that way, at least you're leaving the coaching session with some bits of helpfulness to the coachee. And you want to make sure that they're being truthful with you, because that's going to help you in the long term as well. Now, the last part is what I really love about this coaching session, is because it takes it from one-on-one to actually a team of coaching. So what you'll find is if you're coaching multiple people at once, you're going to say, should this be shared knowledge material? Meaning, should this be delivered to the entire company? Should this be delivered to the departments that we're working with so everybody can understand this? The cool thing that we saw with our enterprise client was a lot of the salespeople had similar things that they wanted to work on that were specific to the company. We started to see trends, and from those trends, we were able to develop something that we could roll out to the team, whether that was live coaching sessions, enablement sessions, or if it was sending links to something, to a document, to a video, to whatever would help immediately. This was a huge thing, because one of the things that I like to say is we're not just raising one person's average, we're raising the average of the team. Because as coaches, if we don't raise the team's average, then we're not actually being successful. So that's really the template. And if you're interested in receiving this template, feel free to leave a comment in the section below, or reach out to me at zwright, ZWRIGHT, at imeoconsulting.com. Or if you see this on Instagram, or you can follow me at Instagram, Zach A. Wright, and send me a direct message, or follow us on LinkedIn at IMEO Company, at IMEO Company, Facebook, same thing. But if you are looking to implement a coaching culture into your organization and you don't have the time, or you don't know where to start, or you just need somebody there to help you implement this, definitely reach out to us at imeocompany.com, or like I said, the email address zwright at imeoconsulting.com. But thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you on the next video. But until then, definitely feel free to check out our other videos in the links below. Thank you.